Yeah. So now we are talking about MRA phase shift key, MRA. So far we have discussed about MRA types. There is MRA PAM, and then MRA QAM. Out of these things, and another one is MRA phase shift key. MRA phase shift key. Among these three, MRA QAM is very popular. It is being used in 4th generation wireless standards also. And also, it is being used in 5th generation wireless standards. So MRA QAM is very important as compared to these three. Okay. Now we talk about the MRA phase shift key. It is an extension of BPSK. Of course, I can say it's an extension of QPSK as well, wherein we are going to use two quadrature orthonormal basis functions, just like your QPSK, but only thing is the symbols are different. We were taking A1, A2 or the bits there in the QPSK, but here they become symbols. A1, A2, they are going to be symbols, and P1, P1 of T, P2 of T, they are orthonormal basis functions, and probably the difference between the MRA phase shift keying and the MRA QAM, it appears to be, the transmitted signal appears to be same, right? Are you able to see that? X of T is equals to A1, P1 of T plus A2, P2 of T. Now it all depends upon the type of symbols what we are using. Here, A1 and A2, they belong to I have given you the brackets A into cos of 2 pi I by M, where I is running from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to M minus 1. Similarly, another thing is another symbol A into sine of 2 pi I by M, where I is running from again 0 to M minus 1. So these are the symbols. There is a phase term that is added along with the amplitude, and that is the reason it's called as MRA phase shift key. The phase amplitude is same for both the symbols, okay, and the angles that are going to be changing. So the phase angle is changing. That's why it's MRA phase shift key. And as usual, we are using the two orthonormal basis pulse waveforms, P1 of T and P1 of T. So P1 and P2 of T are orthonormal basis functions as usual. And please see that if you see the constellation diagram, if you see the constellation diagram in MRA PSK, for example, this is your signal space, and the points will be, of course, this is 0. And of course, this is pertaining to P1 of T. You can have P1 of T here. And this is P2 of T. Okay. Now, the signaling points will be like this. Because the amplitude are same, but phase points are different. So I can have, for example, this is one signaling point. I can have this another signaling point. This is another signaling point. I can get all are at equidistance from the origin. Okay, and here also I can say this is another point. This is another point. This is another point. It's something like they are forming in a circle. They are forming on a circle. So if you draw a circle, how many are there? How many signal points I have just plotted here? 8, right?
8 points, sir.
So this is something like they are all on a circle. Why? Because their amplitudes are all equal. Only the phases are changing. Okay, this amplitude, whatever the amplitude we take, it is something like a, all are same, are having the same distance, the same amplitude. Okay, so this is, I can say 8 PSK. I can call it a 8 PSK. QPSK, it is also called as, QPSK is also called as 4 PSK, but we don't call it as 4 PSK. Okay, M is equals to 4 here. And in general, the name is M array. M array PSK. Depending upon the M value, you can have M array PSK. You can have the number of signaling points. Please note that if I am increasing the M, what exactly I am doing? Can somebody tell me? If I am increasing, say, here instead of M, I can take 16 PSK. If I take 16 PSK, what does it mean? How many signaling points I'm going to have? So that means here the spacing between the two successive signaling points will be, say, I can have one more point here, one more point here, one more point here. So like that, I can have 16 PSK. I can have 16 PSK where only the phase of each symbol is going to be changed, not its amplitude. So it is 16 PSK signal constellation diagram. Okay, if you find out the equivalent distance between the two successive signaling points, okay, if I just what is the distance here? This is the distance between the two signaling points, correct? This is your distance D, equivalent distance D between the two successive signaling points. Now, if I bisect this and draw a line, straight line, bisect this particular line, something like it goes. Sorry, I'm not drawing it correctly. Somewhere it passes through this kind of this one. Okay, this passes through this, something like that. Now, what happens here? The boundary for here also, if I draw as equivalent distance here, equivalent distance, and draw a line which is perpendicular to this particular line. Do you follow? What I'm trying to say is, for 16 PSK, it is going to be very difficult to draw. I'll show you for 8 PSK so that it will be convenient for you. Let me draw. Yeah, let us take this is 8 PSK. In this case, what is the equivalent distance here? The equivalent distance is considerably slightly larger than the previous one. This is your equivalent distance. Okay, this is your equivalent distance. Now you draw a perpendicular line to this. You are going to have Shravan class lo unnaru. Malli maatladna 9:30 So if you draw a what do you call it? This is your line. If you draw a perpendicular line, this will go like this. Now let us see. I can draw one more equivalent distance. What is the straight line here between these 2 points, and I draw a bisect line. Now see that boundary. These are the two lines. These are the two boundaries for this particular signaling point, which can roam anywhere within this region. Because of the noise, this signaling point may move anywhere within this region. Say that region has become very, very narrow as compared to your QPSK or as compared to your BPSK. Did you observe this? Because of some noise addition, this point may change anywhere. Suppose if by any chance if this point is moving here because of some noise addition, then definitely you are going to get a probability of error. Because the boundary is very less here. Whereas in the case of BPSK or QPSK, the boundary is much larger than this. You get my point? From this, what do you understand? The probability of error of 8 PSK, if I just specifically say, as compared to your QPSK or as compared to your BPSK, is it going to be smaller or larger value?
Increased, sir.
Probability of error obviously gets increased because the region is limited to a particular signaling point, but it is bandwidth efficient because 8 PSK means how many bits are there in each symbol. Suppose this is my signaling point corresponding to a particular symbol. This carries how many bits? This carries how many bits?
3 bits. 3 bits.
Log 2 to the log m to the base 2. So MRI means it is 8K, that means 3 bits. It is carrying 3 bits of information within the given bandwidth. So it is going to be more bandwidth efficient than the QPSK or BPSK. But it is inferior to them in terms of the probability of error. So whenever we want to go for the more data rates, if you want to go for more data rates in the PSK schemes, go for MRI PSK, where M depends upon maybe 8, maybe 16. I think up to 32 they have got, but 32 has given a lot of problem. But 16 PSK up to 16 PSK, no problem. In the second generation, no, in the 2.5 generation, do you know what are the generations we have? What is first generation?
Analog, sir.
Analog. It's completely FM.
Oh, yes,
It is
sir.
completely FM. FM modulation scheme is used, nothing else. Second, 2G. In 2G,
From 2G, it's
in 2G, they have used to some extent completely TDM. And these are the digital modulation schemes you have come. That got like QPSK, PiPerFlow, DPSK. There are different modulation schemes. Okay, and 3G. 3G, CDMA. Okay, this is TDMA. This is CDMA. But the modulation schemes, whatever the digital modulation schemes that are used in TDMA in second generation, also they are used in third generation. Digital modulation schemes are all the same, 2G and 3G. But the slots here it is FDMA here. It is FDMA. That means once you allocate the frequency band, that's it. It is blocked completely by the person who is actually engaging. In the case of TDMA, it's not like that. Though you are allocating a particular frequency band to a particular person only for a small duration of time. So total duration for allocating any particular narrowband channel is divided into number of time slots. This slot is allocated for user 1, let us say. This is allocated for user 2. This is allocated for user 3 and so on. Same carrier frequency is allocated, or the same narrowband frequency, that is a band, it is allocated to all the users, but in terms of the time slots, maybe that time slot is very, very small. Okay, so time frame of 10 milliseconds if I take, maybe I can accommodate 8 users, and each user will get 1.6 milliseconds, something like that. That means for 1.6 milliseconds, it is occupied by this particular user 1, this entire frequency band, and the next 1.6 milliseconds is used by this. That means it is switching time. It will be very, very small period. It will be allocated like that in the form of time frames. That was used in TDMA. Now, in the case of CDMA, the total bandwidth, not only this narrowband, the total bandwidth is used by each user, but using a different codes. Okay, different codes. The code division multiple access. That is a separate technique. Now my point is, between 2G and 3G, before coming to 3G, they were struggling that the number of channels are exhausting because of the number of increased subscribers opting for wireless communications. Everybody wants now mobile phone in 2G after once the 2G has come. Now between 2G and 3G, there is one more standard called as 2.5G. In 2.5G, not many major changes. This 2G standards, whatever you have, to increase the data rates, they have gone for 8 PSK. In 2.5G, 8 PSK is predominantly used. Please remember, in 2.5G, to increase the data rates, that's all. To increase the data rates, 8 PSK has been incorporated, deployed in 2.5G. So that is its importance. So MRA PSK was used in 2.5G standards, wherein this is a modulation scheme which can accommodate more number of bits. Okay, 3 bits, even 16 PSK also is used in 2.5G. But after that, the number of errors is going to be more and more. 32, they tried 32 PSK, but the number of errors is going to be more. That's why they stopped it. So up to maximum of 16 PSK they have used. But 8 PSK was comfortable in 2.5G. Okay, now coming back to this. So that means here it is a bandwidth, one of the bandwidth efficient schemes wherein if you want to transmit more number of bits, or if you want to increase the data rate per hertz, then you can think of this kind of schemes. Okay. Now I'm taking one of these kth cancellation points. Kth means I have already shown you. This is 1, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, and so like I'm just taking kth cancellation point. Kth. So here I am talking about cancellation point. Kth cancellation point I noted as SK, which has got A cos 2 pi I by m. Please remember, this is A 2 cos pi by m, and the other one is A sin 2 pi I by m. If I take m is equals to 8, for example, so I can take I is equals to 0, 1, 2, and so on up to 7. You will get up to 7 values. I can take 7 values. Let us take, if I is equals to 0, what kind of phase you will get? Please see that. If I substitute I is equals to 0, what is the phase here? This is going to be 0, correct? And this is going to be, tell me.
Yeah.
No, this is 1. When I is equal to 0 means it is going to be 1. Correct? So A comma 0 is one of my symbols. A comma 0. Sorry, with the phase, what I'm trying to say. Now if I have I equals to 1 here, what do you get here? 2 pi by m. That is pi by 4 here. I'll get pi by 4. Pi by 4 means 1 by root 2. Is also 1 by root 2. Something like you will get 45 degrees. 45 degrees. This is a 45 degrees. That means this is corresponding to A1 and this is corresponding to A2. This is corresponding to A2 and this is corresponding to A1, and the phase angle is 45, 45. So you'll get this is a point. Likewise, all the signaling points can be plotted with the help of this kth signaling cancellation point. This is my cancellation point in general, kth cancellation point. I can say I is replaced actually here. I is replaced by some k value, where I is anywhere, the k value anywhere between 0 and m minus 1. And you can find out what is the average energy, symbol energy. For that, take this is the square of it, and we already seen that in the case of QPSK, we have found that if I take the expectation of that square of that, and the expectation is nothing but this is your energy. Average means expectation I have to do, and if I do that, if I expand that after substitution of x of t and it is a square, you will get this. And we have already seen this kind of derivation in your one of your schemes. And this, but A1 is substituted as cos square 2 pi I by m, and a square sine square like that. And if I take out this a square outside, this is something like x square theta plus, sorry, cos square theta plus sine square theta kind of thing. This is going to be 1, and a square you'll get it. And finally, you will get the relationship between the signal energy and this amplitude is going to be same, just like your QPS. Square root of ES is equals to A. That's how the symbol energy is fixed up. And this is your amplitude. This is the amplitude. Now this is my kth symbol. A kth symbol, anywhere, any value. And here the received signal, we are adding some noise as usual, and we are using two match filters because we are using two energy signals here. So they are matched to this corresponding energy pulses, H1 of t and H2 of t, as we did in the case of QPSK, just like that. You have got two match filters, and output of each match filter is going to be R1 of t and R2 of t. See, for everything, please, suppose if any derivation is asked, don't write them just directly. Please derive them. At least what are the steps that are involved? Because I am not going to derive every time this R1 of capital T, or what is the output of your match filter. We already shown that in the case of BPSK, and it is similarly we have shown in the case of QPSK for two cases. But every time I am making use of those derivations. Please note that whenever a derivation is asked, you must derive them. Don't say that straight away once it is received signal and this is my match filter output by operating this. No, please give some intermediate steps. Now we have got R1 of t, the R2 of capital T is A1, A2, and here A1 and A2 are not simple amplitudes, they are having some phase lengths also. Okay. Now the question is, decision rule is going to be slightly different here because of number of points that are there, signaling points. See that all are having same phase, sorry, same amplitude, but different phases. Let us take, I'm taking this. I'm taking 4 points here. I'm just taking an example, MRA PSK. Any M can be 16 or 8 or whatever it is. Now the question is, if R of t is received, what is R of t? It is a combination of R1t and R2 of t, because I'm having two match filters outputs, and I'm representing as a vector, as a row vector or a column vector. R of t can be represented as, okay, R1 of t, capital T, and R2 of t, because these are the outputs of the match filters, corresponding match filters at I channel and Q channel kind of, the quadrature channels. Okay, once I have that R of t which is corrupted by noise, now let us say, everybody please pay attention here. R of t is somewhere here. Let us say this is my R of t that I have received. I am placing that in the conservation diagram. Let us say this is my R. Now what you have to do is, for the decision rule, you find out the distance from this R of capital T. I can take this as R of capital T. I can take a distance between from R of T. This is the point that is I have placed receive signal which is corrupted by noise. It's a combination of R1T and R2T, because this, let's say this is R1T and let's say this is R2T combination. I am getting this R1. Is it okay? This is P1 and this is P2. Now, what I have to do is, for decision making, I have to find out which is the nearest symbol. See, originally we have drawn these things, right? These are the points that are available on the circle. Now, having received this R of t with the noise, now what I have to do, from this, which I had to draw equivalent distance with all the points, with all the signaling points which are the actual points which are plotted. Now what I have to do, whichever is having the minimum distance from this R of t received signaling point to the actual signaling points which are without any noise. You get my point? It's something like you are playing a game and some people are in a circle, some people are in a circle, and one person is selected for keeping as a R of t. Okay, with respect to that person, I will find out the distance between each person who is standing on the circle. Do you get my point? So in a similar way, having received this R of t, which is corrupted by noise, I'll find out the distances between the received point, signaling point, and the point or the points which are lying on the circle. And whichever is having the minimum distance, that is my corresponding. The decision will be made corresponding to that particular signaling point. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Huh? So here we take the minimum distance rule. Minimum distance rule. Okay, R of t may be here, R of t may be here. You see, depending upon the symbol that is going to be transmitted, maybe R of t here. But we have to find out which is the nearest signaling point which is close to this R of t. This may be here, this may be here, this may. So you have to find out what are the distance, what is the minimum distance. So based on that, see, look at the distance from R of t to all the constitutional points. Choose one with the minimum distance. Sk is the kth point in the MRA PSK. The minimum distance is this. This is the minimum R of t minus Sk. Take the norm. I think we already discussed about what's norm and all that. Okay. Yes or no? What is norm? We already discussed when we are talking about the orthonormal basis functions, orthogonalization procedure. So here, find out the norm, and whichever is the minimum norm of the distance, whichever is the minimum, that is going to be corresponding as a signal, and that is a cancellation point, or that is a signal point that is actually received. So here, what I'm trying to do, I'm finding out the distance R of t that is received this, and the Sk, any Sk. This is what I'm saying. See, actually, it should have been k here. I have written here. Should have been k here. That's what I'm saying. Here, it should have been k here. Some value. Or it could have kept here ith symbol kind of. Ith symbol could have been. Okay. So here, I'll keep this particular point. Sk is k can be any value. So first what you have to do, you find out the distances from this is R1 of t minus corresponding to this plus R2 of t minus this square. This is the equivalent distance or the distance, minimum distance you can find. Now you find out all the distances for all with all the points, and now find out which is having the minimum distance. The distance between the output test static, that is this one. Output test is this, and the kth point in the MRA PSK. Is it okay now? The decision, what kind of decision rule that is used here? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are going to use this minimum distance rule, and it's slightly analysis is slightly complicated. You don't require at this BTech level. I have given you direct formula for you. To illustrate this, you go back to your QPSK. See that here, this is my, let us say this is my point here, and I'm finding out the distances. First of all, you must identify from the test signal which are the nearest signaling points. Nearest neighbors. There may be two nearest neighbors. Out of all, at least this side and this side, there might be two nearest points, right? Yes or no? See, for any signal test point, you will have definitely two nearest points, this side and this side. You take any place, because the construction diagram is around the circle. You take any test, definitely this is minimum distance and this is another minimum distance. 2 points might be definitely will be there to the on both sides of this R of T. So therefore, we call that nearest neighbors as alpha. Here in this case, alpha is going to be 2. There will be 2 nearest neighbors. Okay, approximate similar is going to be SCR is equals to similar. I am talking not the bit error. Alpha times Q of D minimum. D minimum is distance from the test point, that is R of T, to whichever is having that signaling point, which is having the nearest distance. That is the distance D minimum divided by root of 2n naught. So D minimum by 2 is going to be this. If you calculate, see, how do you get this D minimum by 2? I'll draw this, I'll explain this. Let us say this is my signaling point. This is this I know, distance I know. Okay. Let us say this is your equivalent distance. This is your, let us take this point. This is already drawn to you. See, this is your D minimum. If I bisect it, you will get D by 2 here. I want to measure this. This is going to be right angle triangle. Suppose this is my one signaling point and this is my other signaling point. This is by, let us say, equal distance. So D by 2 will be obviously bisecting. If I bisect this, definitely it will pass through this. So D by 2 is this distance. Now this is going to be a one right angle triangle. Correct? And this is my root over ES. This is your amplitude here. This is D by 2. This is D by 2. And this is half of your angle. See, this is 2 pi. You'll get obviously half of that is going to be pi by 2. So this is pi by m. And this is D by 2. This is D by 6. So from this I can find out what is the relationship between D minimum by 2 and then this one. So therefore, from this, find out the equal distance between these two. Okay. And bisect it, you will get D by 2. Or you can find out any test point. You can find out any test point from this and from this. You draw this and then take the bisect it. You will get D minimum by 2. And this is going to be root over ES sin pi by m. To substitute here in this, and you are going to get the SCR. Finally, SCR is equals to, we substitute this value. It is in terms of alpha is equals to P here, 2 into Q of. If you substitute D minimum is nothing but 2 root over ES by into sin pi by 2 by this. Please substitute and tell me finally, you will get what kind of expression you are going to get. Here, P is equals to Q, that is alpha is equals to 2, that is Q of D minimum. What is the D minimum here? D minimum is root over 2 into root over ES into sin pi by 2, sin pi by m, right? This is pi by m, not D by 2, D by 2. Will be pi by 2. D minimum by 2 is this. You'll get 2 here. This is m, this, it's not m. Okay. This is sin pi by m by root over 2 nr. Correct? I think this is the thing what we have got. Yes. Now, this what is that you are going to get? You will get 2 into Q of. Now, one root 2 will go. So you will get root over 2 ES by n naught because everything is in root. And outside of this root is sine pi by m. This is my expression. This is a probability for m array. And depending upon the value of m now, if m is equals to 8, put m is equals to 8 psk. If it is 8 psk, you keep m is equals to 8 here. And what is the pi by 8 value? What is pi by 8 value? Pi is 180. 180 by 8. How much you are going to get?
22.5.
So 22.5 degrees. Or you convert into radians and find out its value. Sine of 22.5 degrees. You find out that value and substitute here. And that is a fraction. That is actually the multiplication factor for this entire root over E2 ES by n naught. So this is about your m array PSK. Here we have to remember only one thing. Symbols are having equal amplitude, but they are changing with respect to phase. Kth symbol can be written as 2 pi k by m, 2 pi k by m, where k is any value between 0 and m minus 1. Kth symbol, or I can have ith symbol, I can have, if I want to keep I as it is. And find out, we know that already we got that information between the symbol energy and the amplitude of that. And here we are finding out the minimum distance after having this R of t, the Navier-Stokes output. And I'll take the distance between them and find out what is the distance in terms of that and substitute that values to this. So please take this as an exercise and try to get it. And this is about all coherent type of detection schemes, wherein the receiver must know what are the carrier frequencies or what are the energy signals that are used at the transmitting end.